everyone. So I really wanted to check out. Someone had recommended, and I'm so sorry, I don't remember who it was. Had recommended the Fab Fatties podcast, right? But I was looking around, and all I could find is the Fab Fatties, and I'm like, that must be it. But as I'm scrolling through, one, they don't have that many episodes, which means we could probably catch up, and then like every time they release a new one, we can cover it, which I'm looking forward to because all of the others have like really long backlogs that are more difficult to get through. Fab Fatties only has 12, and even if they add a few more while we're working through it, I feel like we could actually catch up to these guys. But what I find really interesting is that it was originally the Fab Four Fatties podcast, and as we can see, there's four pictures, four different women, all up until a month ago, and then all of a sudden it dropped to three, and now they're just the Fab Fatties. So I'm kind of hoping that there's some drama related to this because I love drama that has nothing to do with me. And their podcast is on YouTube, and I'll probably watch the first couple minutes of just the video. My guess, though, is that it's going to be primarily them just talking to the camera, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. But for like a visual podcast, it's just not I'm not sure how interesting it will be. If I kind of decide that it's not particularly interesting, I'll definitely show the first couple minutes just so you guys can get a feel for what the video would be like. But then I'll probably do picture in picture and shop while I listen to them and then just put B-roll over it. Right now I'm like really into millinery where I just finished my first hat and I fucking loved it. I loved making it. So now I'm like searching high and low for millinery supplies, cheap-ish millinery supplies because they can get really fucking expensive. But anyway, not that you guys need to know that. We're gonna go ahead and get started. The first one is just started on New Year's, and it's New Year, same rear for Fab Fatties podcast. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at it. We might cover the first taste buds when we like actually get to that point. This is just gonna be entered into like my regular cycle of stuff that I cover. But I don't know if we would do taste buds each time, just because 30 minutes to an hour talking about food. Well, this one's only 10 minutes, so that was not too bad. But like this one is 52 minutes, snacky show and tell, and I have no idea if like we really want to spend an hour watching that. But we might do cover the 10-minute one just to kind of get a feel for what it's like. But anyway, I'm rambling. Let's go ahead and get started with the video.
Hey friends. Hey everybody. Hello. We are the four Fab Fatties and welcome to the very first episode of our podcast. This is going to be a little bit rough, but bear with us. We are not experts yet, but we will be. I would like to introduce all of our hosts, our lovely hosts here today. I'm going to start down here. So we've got Alyssa, we've got Rebecca, we've got Maria, we've got me. And basically, what we're going to be talking to you about is the fact that we basically got tired of being the only fat friend in our friend groups. So we made our own group of fat friends. And hi, ta-da!
It's us.
It's us. And today we want to talk about.
So before we like get into what they're talking about, one, when she's introducing, like this is just me being kind of nitpicky, but when she's introducing, she should say, and then you have me. And while there's the visual of it, given that it's supposed to be a podcast sort of like it even says podcast in the description, you should say your name. Like ultimately, a lot of you guys have said that you listen to me, and I know my visual content, the visual portion of this content is not very interesting. So by and large, I kind of treat it as a podcast format in that anytime there's a caption or anything, I try to read it. I try to explain what's on the screen. Sometimes I'm like, it's on the screen. You can check it out if you want. So that way it kind of signals to you guys, okay, turn to your screen, get your phone out, whatever, and pause if you want to actually read it or you want to see what it is, or you guys can reference back to it, knowing that I showed it on screen at some point. So that's just something for them to keep in mind. Granted, it's their first video, so it's really just kind of a nitpick. Also, that whole thing about being the only fat friend in the group, and so they made their own group of fat friends. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I don't have any issue with them coming together as fat women to form their own friend group. My only question is, did you guys like completely abandon your other friend groups? Like and I ask this because FAs tend to take things very seriously, and so I'm trying to get a gauge of, are you guys casual FAs, meaning that you haven't really delved deep into the lore of FAs and the shit that they say, or are you more of the radical kind of FA in that you don't want to associate with like the thins? It's interesting. I just kind of want to get like a feel for like why. Great that you have your own friend. I don't even have a problem that they want to have a close knit of overweight women. There's especially in terms of if you're talking about shopping for stuff, or there's just some things that you might be able to relate more with women who are also overweight, um that maybe your thinner friends can't relate to. So like I don't necessarily have a problem with that. My question is this this was kind of for you guys to kind of get feedback on people that kind of more understand your situation, and that's totally cool. But then did you are like, I don't want to associate with my thin friends anymore as well, or I'm wondering where this falls in line, but let's keep listening.
Um, with it being January 1st, the day that we're recording this, New Year's resolutions.
Gross.
Gross. And so
Right there, already starting to tell me that they're a little bit more of the extreme. New Year's resolutions, blah. One, New Year's resolutions don't have to be weight loss related. I do have a weight loss related New Year's resolution that I'm still trying to keep to, but I have another New Year's resolution to finish the Japanese Duolingo tree. And saying that you're against New Year's resolutions just seems like you're against any real attempt at self-improvement. Like that you this is one of those things where again it's their first episode, so maybe they don't know how to kind of think about how what they say can be interpreted yet. There's a difference between like, I don't know. Like I understand that a lot of people don't adhere to their New Year's resolutions, but I think it's a fine habit to be in, to make a New Year's resolution and to try. Like if you're genuinely trying throughout the year, there is merit to that. But let's see what they have to say.
this episode is called New Year, Same Rear. But nobody's laughing at me.
And I'm 10.
Okay.
We've heard
All
it a few times at this point, but it's new to you.
Cool. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I would like to start out, and I would like to ask you all how you've been personally victimized
By the new year.
by New Year's resolutions. All right, Alyssa, take it away.
Oh gosh. I think the New Year resolutions set unrealistic, unhealthy expectations for everyone, and I think it's extremely
Wow. Oh shit. So the thing is that you can make your New Year's resolution whatever you want it to be. Let's say you want to read more and you're not a big reader. Saying that you want to read 100 books in the year is probably an overshoot and an unrealistic expectation. Saying you want to read 3 books over the course of the year is probably far more accessible. You can determine the intensity of your New Year's resolution. If your New Year's resolution is unattainable, then that's a you issue. You said it. You said it. Oh my god. Like I set unreasonable New Year's resolutions for myself a lot of time. Like even finishing the Duolingo Japanese tree with the like 12 other New Year's resolutions that I put on myself, probably unrealistic. But I'm the type of person that likes to jump around to different things. So having like a core set of 10 or 12 different resolutions to kind of hop around is better for me. And the thing is that I don't hold myself to the standard that I must get them all perfect. I must finish them all. They're things to work towards. I swear. And I'm sure that they're just talking about weight loss resolutions, but this in itself just goes to show that your all or nothing mentality and how you can't see outside of your own perspective. It's not the New Year's resolution's fault that you fail. All right, it's not that you either set a resolution that was entirely too high or you didn't consistently work towards it. It's one or the other. Like, well, no, there's one other exception. Sometimes this happened when the year that I fell down the stairs and broke both my arms at the same time, and it was spring quarter of my junior year of college. I fell down the stairs, broke both my arms at the same time. It sucked. I did not finish my New Year's resolution. I don't remember what it was, but I remember being completely derailed by that and unable to, like, I felt like I was playing catch up the rest of the year. That happens too. Doesn't mean that it's your fault and it's nothing to feel fucking bad about. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god, I've been talking so much and we're less than 2 minutes into this. There's just so much to say.
Really damaging to our mental health, just in general. The concept of new year, new me, um, it does way more damage than it does good. I think setting up an idea in your mind that you're going to change the way that you live your life completely in one day, going from like changing your diet.
It's a year. Not in one day. In a year. The New Year's resolution is meant to be completed over the course of a year, not a single fucking day. Not a single fucking day. And no one's saying that you have to completely revamp your entire fucking life. That you're doing it wrong then. You're fucking doing it wrong. I'm sorry. I'm gonna start getting really worked up because this is so fucking stupid because it's your fault. It is your fault. If you are finding your New Year's resolution unattainable, if you think it's ridiculous to try to change all this, like change a bunch of shit overnight, you are doing it wrong. You are the one in the wrong. It is not the New Year's resolution. Trying to change yourself over the course of a year is not a bad thing. It's called, oh my god, it's called self improvement. You find New Year's resolutions overwhelming, you are making them too big. You are being too, oh god, what's the word? You're being too if I want to say adventurous, but that's not what it is. But you're setting your expectations too high for yourself.
And changing your routine and adding in all of these fitness goals is just so unrealistic, and does a disservice to you as a person.
It's unrealistic because you are expecting to do all of them overnight. You are the one that placed that expectation on yourself. And I know you guys. I know that this. They're. I am freaking right now. Oh my god! Like it's just. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like oh my god. And if you want to try to say, well, society has this expectation, honey, if you're worrying about what fucking society is, you're not concentrating enough on yourself. Fucking fuck those people. Fuck what any imaginary group that you think is judging you says. It does not fucking matter. You do not have to do a complete 180 in every single aspect of your life on January 1st. No one is expecting that. And if you are expecting that of yourself, you are setting your expectations entirely too high. It is not the fault of the New Year's resolution. It is the fault of you. It is the fault of your expectations of yourself. It is the fault of you placing expectations entirely too high on yourself. Lower your expectations. Lower them. Lower them for yourself. Make it attainable. If you really struggle with making things entirely too hard on yourself, then my advice to you is do a New Year's resolution that you think you could get done in 3 months. Like make it like seriously, you want to lose weight, set your New Year's resolution. If you have the habit of setting like, I want to lose 50 pounds in this year or whatever, something kind of high, something that and you're not used to like weight loss efforts or anything, way bring that back down. Say you want to lose 5 pounds over the course of the year. 5 at most. And if you can lose those 5 pounds in 3 months, excellent. Then you set up another resolution for the rest of the year. No one's saying that you have to limit it to New Year's itself. I'm so aggravated right now. This is gonna be a long fucking video because I have so much to fucking say.
Person, yeah, right? Like you are a person with needs and emotional needs and physical needs, and you work a job, and there are things that you actually need to do to like function, and then to be like, you know what, on top of everything I have to do just to survive, let me go ahead and add on this huge burden on myself.
If you are putting a huge burden on yourself, you are doing New Year's resolutions wrong, and I will scream that until I'm blue in the face.
That I need to achieve. And I think you know, the New Year's resolutions are always around lifestyle changes and physical changes. And I think that's
And see, this is you can't get out of your own myopic point of view. I don't know, like, yes, weight loss and lifestyle changes are the most popular forms of New Year's resolutions, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing fucking wrong with that. But that to say that it is always the case shows that you can't see how other people prioritize other things in their lives because you're so set in your own mindset.
where I think that's where the most damage is done is, you know, if you can't live a lifestyle that looks like the Instagram fitness model of it, then you're not living a healthy lifestyle. And I think
That's an expectation you put on yourself. No one is putting that on you. You put that on yourself. Get off fucking Instagram then.
that's what New Year's resolutions really lean into is that there's only one way to live a healthy lifestyle.
Says fucking who? Who is saying this about New Year's resolution? Honestly, this is just such a. Oh my god. I can't even verbalize. We're 3 minutes. I've talked too entirely too much already, but god damn, this is pissing me off.
It's if you look like a fitness influencer.
All right, what about you?
You know, I don't know. I feel a little bit like I have never, ever, ever been a goal-oriented person. Now, that doesn't mean like I don't. We hate goals. Never, ever, never, ever. That doesn't mean I don't push myself or hold myself to high expectations. I feel like I'm always trying to reach some kind of pinnacle of success in my brain. But what I don't do, Miss Ma'am, is I'm bad at visualizing what that means. So I don't really tend to set myself this goal because I don't know what that looks like yet.
Yeah.
And so whenever I've always like heard like it's time for New Year's Eve goals, I've really never set any hard ones for myself because I'm a bad visualizer, frankly.
I don't have any problem with this. I think because New Year's resolutions aren't for everyone. I'm a very goal-oriented person, so setting multiple goals, setting goals with various timelines works really well for me. I know plenty of people that goals ends up being this sense of pressure for them, and so they don't really engage with it the same way. Or if they do, they set very small goals, very, very easily attainable goals that give them a sense of progression. But you don't have to set the goals. If this is, like she said, if goals clearly don't work for her, she's not a very goal-oriented person, it doesn't serve her the same way. There are people like that. There are people where having a goal in mind, having a finish line doesn't work for them, and they prefer a more methodical, very slow approach to achieving whatever they want and adjusting that constantly based on, like, some people, like I have a couple members of my family that don't like being boxed into something. They want to be able to change their mind. They want to be able to change it. So any goals that they set tend to be very soft, like she's describing here. Totally fine. Totally fine. It's about what works for you. It's about what is going to help you get to where you want to be and what serves you.
All right. And I really don't
Hi, I'm
set
Rebecca.
those for myself.
I'm a bad visualizer.
And also I get really annoyed by motivational speaking and by someone telling me to do something, like even myself. So I can be very resistant. If I feel coerced into it in any way, I am resistant. So it's just better if I don't.
So you've just always been like just a hard no on these in general.
Yeah. I maybe one time told myself I'd journal every day.
Okay.
Hey,
That's a modest goal. We like it.
Practice.
We like it.
Yeah, but I buy calendars and never fill them out. I buy myself a budget planner and I never
be
fill
that
them
girl
out.
this year. Yeah.
And I don't feel bad about it. Like some people will feel like, oh, I failed. I just like I'm like they're pretty. I got them. I thought I might do it and I didn't. And I usually do not feel like I let myself down if I don't because I know I won't.
I love that for you.
I actually don't have a problem. Calendars, budget planners, it's about, as long as you aren't going into, like, if you bought like a budgeting thing and you didn't use it, but you're not in major debt, you're not in a huge amount of credit card debt, it's not something you can manage your finances in other ways, there's nothing wrong with that. If you have different ways of managing your schedule, there's nothing wrong with that. If, like, I would recommend to stop buying those things just for the sake of, reducing waste. But otherwise, like, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. People are very different. People work things differently. I really like, I have this budget Excel spreadsheet thing. It's full of formulas and stuff that I bought off someone on Etsy. Works really well for me. I like using it. It's the best budget thing that I found because I can go back like halfway through the month and fill it out and then see where I am. Like, it's not very strict. So that works for me. If that doesn't work for you, cool. Don't use it. And yeah, you bought it, you tried to see if you could like commit to it and use it, and if you didn't, then it's not for you. I actually have no problem with what you said here.
I love that. How about you?
Yeah. New Year's resolutions are bullcrap.
Yeah.
Kind of just like one of those things that
Trash.
Trash. It's like you're
Oh wait, we need to introduce the trash meter. Please, Maria, this is a perfect introduction to your trash meter. Please tell us about it.
Sure. So I have a varying scale. It goes from trash to rainbows and unicorns. And there's kind of no in between. So
That's fair.
we're either
That's
going to be
accurate.
on the
If there's no in between, then is it really a scale?
trash scale, which is anywhere between 0 to 5 trash cans, or we're going to be on the rainbow unicorn meter, which is anywhere between 1 little sparkly heart to 7 unicorns.
Just say
All right. Well, I mean, if that works for you, whatever. This like I think it's I don't know if they're trying to be quirky and cute or if this is like something she genuinely does on a regular basis, but whatever.
And that's just the logic of it
That's
all.
so iconic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when it
It
comes
makes
to New
sense to
Year's
me.
resolutions, we're definitely at least a 4.5 trash.
Trash.
Yeah.
Not even a cute
Like-
trash with
like-
raccoons.
No,
No.
bad
this is
trash.
not a trash panda situation. This is pure garbage. It's
I
flaming
don't
hot.
understand why.
It
I mean,
is
fine. If
bad.
New Year's resolutions don't work for you, like I get it. I get it. New Year's resolutions aren't for everyone, but to call it trash, I don't know. It just seems like you are trying to make everything else an issue rather than maybe something simply doesn't work for you or like you're viewing New Year's resolutions in this very limited box of simply weight loss and fitness goals when New Year's resolutions can be any variety of things. I don't know. There's something about her calling New Year's resolutions trash that just bugs the shit out of me because it feels overly redundant and there's something about her tone that's pissing me off.
Bad.
Stinky.
It's just not it. Stinky. So yeah, New Year's resolutions are just one of those things that I feel like started as a tradition, just some like grave. Oh, I'm gonna revamp my entire personality and be a whole different person this year. And why
I don't
would
understand
you
why
want
you
that?
wouldn't want that.
Yeah,
Why
I-
don't you want
I
to
mean-
grow? Why don't you want to make efforts towards bettering yourself? Like, why is that a wrong thing? Why do you want to completely reinvent yourself? Because I could be better. Because I could be better. If you're not growing, you're dying. So, like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to make now that's just not to say that you should like completely exhaust yourself emotionally, physically, whatever for this ideal self that you have in your brain. Like that's not what you should do. I'm not saying that's what you should do, nothing like that. But there's nothing wrong with consistently working towards bettering yourself. And no one's saying that every year you have to completely reinvent yourself. I think that's like hyperbole in all honesty with what anyone actually does with New Year's resolutions. Saying that you completely do a 180 is just 100% hyperbole. No one like very few people will completely reinvent themselves in a year, but it's about focusing on something that you view as like a deficit in yourself or just something that you want for yourself. What is I don't understand their aversion to self-betterment.
I'm 35 years into this person, this body, this human that I've curated. So why would I want to take her and just
No one's
trash her?
saying to trash your
She's not
current
the
self.
trash.
What the I don't understand this mindset. Like, yes, you've been in that body for 35 years. You've been that person for 35 years. You should not be the same person you were when you were 12. Because, in all honesty, and I say this for myself as well, your 12-year-old self was probably an asshole to some extent, or at the very least selfish, because kids just are. They haven't developed that part of their brain to be more considerate of others yet. If you are the same as you were when you were 12, 14, 22, whatever, then you are a stunted individual. There's like, as far as I'm concerned, personally speaking, I think everyone should grow as a person, at least in some capacity, every year. And that doesn't have to be weight loss, it doesn't have to be fitness. It could be in your job, it could be with a personal hobby, it could be learning to not react when people try to bait you with something that makes you angry. It could, like, I something that I've been working on, and a good portion of this came from working with kids, is not reacting to emotional outbursts, because it does not help. It only escalates the student, and it escalates me as well for me to match their energy. And that's trickled over into my everyday life, when where I'm having like a disagreement with someone and it's starting to erupt into an argument and something more combative. I've been really practicing on not matching that energy to keep things from escalating, and it's worked. Like, there's nothing wrong with learning skills to better yourself. Like, yes, you're no longer I had, at one point, I had multiple family members telling me I had anger issues. I don't have that anymore, because I've worked on it, because I've learned to control myself. I don't want to be the same person that I was 10 years ago. And I would hope to God other people don't as well. Like, I don't know.
The idea that I have to change
No one's
everything
saying that
about
you have to
myself is
change everything
BS.
about yourself.
That is,
For fuck's sake.
I 100% agree. Were you done
No,
with your
go
thought?
for it.
I 100% agree with you. That is exactly where I lie on on the trash meter of New Year's resolutions. Like the thought, just the general thought of like everything about you from last year is trash,
No
and
one
you
is
need to be a
saying
new
that.
person
If
this
that's
year.
how you
Like
guys view New
the
Year's
whole like,
resolutions, you are the ones that are interpreting it in a very extreme way.
reinvent yourself, new year, new you.
No.
So
I
you were
don't
garbage
understand that
last
mind.
year.
I'm sorry, I know
Everything
I
about
keep
you
commenting
sucked.
on this same point, but like, everything about the you from last year sucked. No one is saying that. New year, new me means I am transforming myself in ways that I want to see improvements in. There is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong to strive. Even constant self betterment isn't an issue unless it is causing any sort of, not even any sort of distress, but significant amounts of distress. Like, sometimes you do want to break. There have been times when I took years where I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to do New Year's resolution. I'm overwhelmed with what's currently on my plate, and my goal is just to carve out, and then I end up with a goal anyway, with carving out some time for myself for hobbies that I like, or relaxation time, or maybe sometimes it's like getting to bed a little bit earlier so that way I'm sleep, because I was exhausted last year constantly and I don't want to be like that anymore. Like, even when you're taking a break, there can be small things that you're changing to make your life better.
You need to reinvent yourself and be a different person this year. And honestly, this is going to sound like a little like maybe tin hat of me, but it's also very much feeding into like capitalism of like we've convinced you as society
For
and as
fuck's
a
sake, just say
capitalist,
you want to be lazy.
you know,
That's,
as
I'm
a
sorry, I don't mean to be
society.
overly redundant, but at this point, if you're gonna blame capitalism for people bettering themselves and for New Year's resolutions in general, fucking please. Please, you can make New Year's resolutions that you don't spend a dime on. So don't give me that bullshit. Do not give me that bullshit. Just say that you don't want to change. You don't want to better yourself in any way. You don't want to be part of that. That's fine. That's your choice. You can do whatever you want. It's your fucking life. But to act like there's something fundamentally wrong with New Year's resolutions in and of themselves is, yes, tin hat of you, and fucking, I don't know. There's something just supremely self-absorbed about it to me.
society, we have convinced you that everything about you from 2023 was wrong. And so now you need to go out in 2024 and buy
If
all
that
new
is how you
makeup,
are
all new clothes,
interpreting New
all new
Year's
workout gear, all
resolutions, you
new
are doing it
everything.
wrong.
Go buy a gym membership, go buy this, go buy that, go buy that, go buy things to make yourself a better person this year.
Absolutely.
And
A
it's
fresh
so
start.
a fresh start,
No one's
right?
saying you
Go
have to buy
your
your fresh start. If you
And
are
it's
that
so
easily
like
influenced by advertising and shit, that's a you issue, and you need to learn to be more aware of it and not give into it. Because if that's where you're getting your pressure is from these advertisement campaigns and that shit, then you are an easily influenced individual, and that's something that you should probably work on. And guess what? That won't cost you a dime.
it's obviously liberating to be in that space now of I can look at it and be like, this is trash. This is absolute. This is 5 trash cans for me. This is the high. This is trash. This is absolute trash. But I very much fell victim to that for a very long time of like, oh yeah, this is my year. This is my year. I'm gonna lose that weight. I'm gonna do this year. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna completely be by the end of this year, you won't even recognize me. Why?
Why?
Why would I want to do that? I love myself now. Like, but I didn't. I hated myself.
Yeah.
You know?
The
And
other
that's
day-
what a
get
lot of
that.
that's based on is
Yeah.
the fact that you
It's
can
not
buy
about
into something that somebody
hating
hates
something
about
about
themselves.
yourself. There can just be something that you want to change. I don't understand this obsession with hating yourself in the fat acceptance community. It's like, oh, because you hate yourself, because you want it. Everything comes back down to hating yourself. You can want to improve something and not necessarily hate it. Do you hate the way things are in your house when you go to improve them? No, you're just like, I think this could be better. I would think that this could be more convenient for me. I want to make things more like, for instance, in my house, we're working on changing the living room from like a sit area to a crafting space with maybe like a small love seat or something, but not nearly as much furniture dedicated to sitting. And down like we want to downsize the TV and stuff so that way it doesn't take up as much of a footprint within the space. Does that mean we hate the way it is right now? No, it's just not getting utilized. It's not getting utilized. My mom and I like to sew, and having a dedicated sewing and crafting space is far better for us in our house than a traditional living room. Does that mean we hate the living room the way it is now? No, but it's not getting used. It doesn't mean that we hate it. It just means that it could serve us better.
And it can get them to purchase something else in exchange for that. So, oh, you hate yourself? You won't after you're wearing this new shirt or you're trying this new diet tea.
Exactly.
Because you won't even recognize yourself.
Exactly.
Well,
And
and
what's
some
so
of it-
wrong with identifying yourself and realizing that you're great?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and some of it, I tend to think like, oh, people don't buy into this now. Like, I assume in my 30s, I've had a lot of my 30s. I just assume that people have like reached this idea that it is kind of bullshit. But then like I'll come across a post. Like I was looking at someone's story the other day, and they had this post that said, "This is the last year I'm fat." And I was like,
my trash can.
yeah. And as someone who's been fat since 3 years old, it is interesting to me to like think that this is the last year of like that identity, having fat in your body, like just even any kind of thought process that like that thing ends at any given point is interesting. And for someone to set that as their intention is kind of outside of my scope of thinking.
I just think it's so harmful that that's what's so like that's what the holidays kind of center around too. The holidays like leading up to New Year's. It's like, the last couple like newscasts of the year are like, okay, you've indulged in all your holiday, your holiday treats and your holiday eats. And now if you don't want to be a fat piece of you know what, like here's how you can start. Like here's how you can get a jump start on your new life and your new you. And it's just such garbage because like you've had all of this like wonderful time. Or I mean, holidays aren't necessarily a wonderful time for everybody. That's for another episode. But, right? Like it's like at the end of the year. And I think Alyssa, you have some research on this, but like it's literally like you can't get away from the weight loss commercials and the every single newscast I was watching was like, okay, our next segment is going to be how you can lose 10 pounds your first week of 2024 when we come back.
It's wrapped up in this idea that the end of the year is out of control and the beginning of the year is you getting in control.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like to get in control, you need to visualize these goals for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like that is how you're going to take on the year. And if you don't,
My
then you're
God,
a
do they
mess who's going
read
to go
so much
nowhere.
in
Right.
to something like the new year is just a period of time where everyone's like, okay, it's the ending of something and the beginning of something else. So when you're already beginning something else, you sometimes want to include other new beginnings in that. And that can be changing things in your life that aren't working for you. It's not even a matter of hating it. It's not even a matter of saying like you're worth less because of it or anything. It's just not working for you. I don't like this. It's just such a victim way of looking at New Year's resolutions. That's the best way I can define it, is that they are victims of the New Year's resolution industry or whatever the fuck they're going on about with capitalism and shit like that. It's just I I hate this.
Going to flounder. And I think that is, again, like it goes into capitalism. It goes into this idea of like we have to be super productive. We have to always be striving for the next iteration of ourselves in our lives. And that's
Honestly, you
it,
don't
it
have
gets into
to
a sickening
I
place if
I
that
just
is
I don't
where
I guess I just don't understand their mindset of you always have to be striving. Why wouldn't you want to be striving consistently for something better for yourself? Let's say your body's where you want it to be. Great. Let's say your job is where you want it to be. Great. Let's say your home life is where you want it to be. Great. Great. Then all of your bases are covered on that front. Now it's time to find something that brings you joy, and that in a way is a new you. To find something that brings you joy, and let's say you've been able to establish all of the like main bases in your life, and you just are looking for something new. It's not even necessarily making a new hobby. Let's say you just want some novelty in your life. You want, so for the next year your focus is on trying something new every month. That's still a new you. The you that is secure with where they are in life, and so they're seeking out an adventure. That is still a New Year's resolution. That is still a new you. That is still a new iteration of you. Why would you not want that?
you just let yourself get eaten up by these expectations.
Alyssa, what did you said that you actually looked into you were like counting something.
Yeah. Last night, we're recording on January 1st. Last night was the ball drop.
Yeah.
So I was watching I think it's Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's.
Is he still alive?
No, he's not.
He's long.
But it's his. But they keep it dedicated to him, regardless.
Are we for sure about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
1,000,000%.
Yes. Ryan Seacrest hosts now.
Yeah.
So they're not hosting.
America's Daddy, Ryan Seacrest.
So I'm watching last night, and I think just because of my own lived experiences, I'm super heightened and aware of diet culture,
Yeah.
especially right now. And I was home with my husband, and we're just chilling on the couch, and there were multiple Weight Watcher commercials. I at least know one Medi weight loss commercial. HelloFresh, while they are a food service, they do have diet meal plans. Part of them,
Carb-free.
they have a bunch.
Low carb, no carb.
Yep.
Fit and fresh.
Yeah. So HelloFresh had a bunch. And then, the whole entire evening is sponsored by Planet Fitness, which again, nothing is wrong with going to the gym. I think it's just what we're talking about is the New Year resolution being tied to the unattainable
Question though, what about Weight Watchers, Planet
harmful-
Fitness, or whatever is unattainable? Like, I think what they're getting at is the idea that you'll completely change everything about your. They seem to be primarily focused strictly on the weight loss and the fitness aspect of the resolution, since that is typically like the most popular resolutions that are set. But the idea that you have to completely revamp everything about yourself, even in that space, is a pressure that you put on yourself. If you see it in advertising, it's not necessarily even that they're saying that you have to completely do all of this in one year. They just know that people have different goals, so they're representing themselves as kind of an all in one. It feels like they completely missed the point of New Year's resolutions to me. That's what it feels like.
or just being tied in general to our bodies.
Yeah.
It's like it's every new year. It's shoved down our throats. This is a new year,
You
so
don't have
change your
to.
body.
Yeah.
Like
And
it's
it's
like
completely
we can't-
voluntary. And those of us that choose to, guess what? I'm getting stronger. Like I've been doing the hybrid calisthenics workouts, primarily just the push. I've actually been just focusing on push-ups and squats to try to increase my ability in each of those, and I have gone up the ranks. He starts with like wall push-ups, then slight incline push-ups that are at chest level. I am now midway through incline push-ups at the hip level. I've progressed up past the wall push-ups, past the incline at the chest, and now I'm at incline at the hip. And before the end of the year, I may be able to do knee push-ups because of my upper body's weak. So, like I've been really working on that and I've been very happy with my progress. It's not that I think that my body is bad. I simply want to be stronger.
Get away from it. We cannot get away from it's like it's the perfect time of year to change your body. It's the perfect time of year to change the way you look. And it just ultimately boils down to this overwhelming sense of you can literally be anything, but the worst thing to be is fat. Right? It's
Right.
like every year it's just they teach us that at the top of your list, it should be you should be less fat. You should be smaller. Make yourself smaller. And it's like, you know what? I would I could be so many other things. I could be horrible, horrible things. I know some horrible, horrible people, right? I could be a terrible, terrible person.
But as long as you're not fat,
But as long as I'm not fat, you
then
know,
you're doing just
like,
fine.
it's like why not encourage people? Why not encourage people to, if you're gonna, reinvent yourself this year, go to therapy.
I know.
You know?
And, I'm not a huge fan of like the big online therapy corporations.
No.
But like even seeing like BetterHelp do a commercial would be sending a different message
Mhm.
than Medi Weight Loss or Weight Watchers, right? Like invest in yourself,
Weight loss
invest in
and
your
physical
own mental
fitness
health
is a
and
way
your
of investing in yourself. It may not be the way you want to invest in yourself, but to act like it is in no way an investment in yourself is just one, you showing a clear bias, and two, you not seeming to understand how people can want to improve themselves without hating their bodies.
physical being, you know?
Yeah.
I think what's so crazy about New Year's resolutions is it really is so targeted towards your lifestyle and the way you look, and not necessarily like, hey, your New Year's resolution is to call family once
That
a week.
can be your New
Right.
Year's
Right.
resolution.
Yeah.
It's
You
just not
know,
a very
like your
common
New
resolution, so there's not going to be advertisements for it. Weight loss, fitness, and other physical types of resolutions are the most popular, so that's what's going to get the most advertising.
Year's resolution is to go on one trip this year. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
To live more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so much focus on your physical
On
being.
our bodies. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the people who like emailed me for potentially working together. And I didn't connect them with New Year's Eve, but now I am thinking like maybe this is their big budget moment to push because I've been connected by like an athletic footwear. It looks like great footwear for wide fit shoes, but athletic footwear, an exercise bike, and an electronic bike. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't put the thought together like maybe they're spending their dollars now because this is the big push
Yeah.
for those products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just like
Light bulb.
I told you guys the other day, I got a message on Instagram that I
Yeah, breathe it out for a sec.
I was approached by this account that the original message was, we would just love for you to come on our YouTube channel and have a conversation with us about what health and wellness means to you. And I, being someone who's very confident in my larger body, I very quickly recognized that because I've received many of these messages before, right? And I very quickly recognized that as, hi, you're fat, and I want to talk to you about that because I sell weight loss. Because and that was part of the message too, was like, oh, well, I have a BS in nutritional science. I'm like, okay, cool. So I go to their page, and their whole page is about weight loss, but it's not just about weight loss. It's like at first it just looks like, oh, I can help you lose weight. But then you start looking at their videos and their reels, and it's like they're very upset about fat people. They're very upset. They're like, oh, well, fat people are this and fat people are that, and fat people are taking away your airplane seats, and fat people are
I mean, to
are
be
breathing
fair,
in your
to a
air. And
certain
it's like,
extent, fat people are taking away airplane seats. We saw that with a woman who was her and her daughters were kicked off because of the customer of size policy because a fat person needed an extra seat. So one of her or the two girls she was with was kicked off, so they all had to leave. Like to an extent, like the customer of size policy has issues. But I mean, it's not wrong. That being said, do I hate fat people? No, but I don't think that that's fair that for the customer of size policy to kick off someone who paid for their seat. And according to that person, they weren't getting reimbursed for their ticket. I don't know if that's actually the case or not. Because that was just what she said, and she was very upset at the time. And so when you're very upset and stuff, sometimes you're not getting things completely accurate. I could not find any confirmation on whether you're actually reimbursed or not if you get kicked off for a customer of size. To say that fat people aren't taking some people's seats is just a lie.
seriously, and it's like, I'm sorry. Maybe go find some friends. It sounds like you might need some friends.
Maybe some fat friends.
You know,
And
maybe some fat
again,
friends. Yeah.
it's this kind of
maybe
talking down
humanize
to
them.
people that are expressing concerns and frustrations over certain things that are being done that do affect them, but are treated very condescendingly by people like this for their concerns and belittled and told to find some friends.
Fat people.
You know, maybe just like we're not, you know, I don't know. We're all, I don't know. We seem pretty normal. We seem like cool people to hang out with. I don't know. I think I am.
I mean, I'm pretty great.
I'm pretty great. But it's just like,
I'm just-
again, but
I rate y'all 2 on the track meter.
That
Like,
comment
again,
is 5.
but it's also it was leading up to again this, you know, this period of New Year's resolutions of changing ourselves, changing our bodies, of being this better version of ourselves. And it honestly it boiled down to like this person thinking that I owed them to hear why they think
No, you
that I
don't
should hear
owe
them out,
anyone
or
to
that
actually listen
I
to
should
their
hear.
opinion, but by that logic, you can't expect anyone to listen to yours. You can say, we're being discriminated against, you can say X, Y, Z, but if you're not going to listen to the other side, then you can't really expect to be listened to. Like, especially this particular movement, because it is like you can change your body. Like, this isn't a situation for people that can't change their situation. You can change your situation. So, to complain about not being able to find cute clothes or whatever is you can't expect people to listen to you when you won't listen to others.
Why I should lose weight. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested because that has been peddled to me my whole life. That has been peddled to us our whole lives of you need to change, you need to be better, and in order to be better, you need to be smaller. And it's like it's a lie. It's a lie. And honestly, for me, I can say I think part of getting to that space has been connecting with other fat people. And I mean, particular for me is fat, you know, fat femmes, but like connecting with other fat people and finding fat community and finding that, you know, the lived experiences that I've had are not something to just, you know, sweep under the rug or, you know, don't air your dirty laundry and don't, I don't know. I think there's just been so much shame our whole lives that now having a space to be able to talk amongst people who understand it has made it so it doesn't feel it doesn't feel so scary to be like your New Year's resolution. Oh, are we cursing on this? I don't know. You know,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
We are now.
Censored. But like, you know what? Like it doesn't feel so scary now to be like, after New Year's resolutions, I don't care. Good for you. Eat celery if that's what makes you happy. I'm gonna eat the brownies. Like I don't. Sorry. It's just not.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because a lot of our conversations around fatness, up until I met people who were more fat liberated minded, was only about becoming not fat.
Yeah.
Right.
And so if that's your worldview, these commercials and these ideas are so in line with everything you've seen up until, you've talked to someone with a different view. And for me, I came across some of those ideas when I was 22, 23. Thank goodness, but a lot of people that we meet in our 30s still have yet to talk to someone about fat lived experience outside of the idea of becoming not fat. Like that is a
Right.
new conversation for so many people of different ages. And it does completely change the way we reevaluate and we think about our experiences when we're allowed to think about our fat identity outside of the need to eradicate it.
100%. 100%. I mean, you have to think about like that has been the message that they've been peddling to us
Honestly, I
in
think you guys are just
different,
obsessed with a sense of
different
persecution and I think you guys have been entirely too concerned with the views of other people. And I think that's true with the FAs in general. It's like we're getting all this pressure to become smaller and because you can do whatever the fuck you want. Any pressure that you're feeling is either one because the environment isn't suited to you because you are too big, which sorry, you can change that. Or that you want to control how other people you want other people to find you attractive, you want other people to find you XYZ, and they don't, and that upsets you because that conflicts with your idea of who you are, but you can't control what other people think.
slogans and different jingles and whatever our whole lives of just smaller is better. We don't want to see fat people anymore. And it's like, we're going to get rid of fat people. You can eliminate fat forever. And it's like,
It's a choice.
it's seriously,
That is a choice.
and it's just like, and that's what people think. People think that it's just like, oh, we
No,
just
that's
sit around
not
like,
what
I'm
people
gonna be
think,
fat.
and
Yeah.
that just goes to show me
Yeah,
that
I've made that.
the fat acceptance group doesn't understand what we mean when we say being fat is a choice. Being fat is a result of your choices. That's what we mean by being fat is a choice. It is because of choices that you've made that you're fat. We're not saying that you sat around and said, "You know what? I'm going to be fat." Very few people do that. Saying that fat is a choice meaning that fat is made up of choices that you've made with your life, continuing to eat, not exercising, not eating healthier foods, eating too much. Those are all choices that you make on a day-to-day basis. So in order for you to not be fat, you must change those choices.
That decision for myself. And it's like, you know what? And even if I had made that,
How's it impacting
I agree.
me?
right,
Like you can do whatever you want.
exactly.
I'm
Like,
not saying that you can't. That being said, don't complain to me that you can't fit in a standard seat that has armrests.
to have a literal stranger contact me on Instagram and find that their whole profile is about attacking fat people for simply existing.
Mhm.
And it's like, how is this affecting your everyday life that you can't find joy outside of attacking other people
Right.
for simply existing in a body that looks different than yours?
Well, the problem is that by existing in your body and not hating yourself, you're challenging literally everything they've ever learned.
And there it is.
And there it is.
And
You're
if
not
you're
challenging
a
anything,
former
everything
fatty,
that
Yes.
everything
most
that's
people have ever learned. That's not what you're doing. I love that you think that's what you're doing, but that's not what you're doing. You're just complaining and wanting people to adjust their behavior, their lives, how things are done in general to suit you and your lifestyle choices.
given them what their idea of success and meaning in their life is.
And it's that I think that's one of the hardest things that I've noticed is if you click it, that it sometimes it does, we're not using that as like a derogatory term, but the former fatties, right? It almost does seem to be people that used to look like us that have the most hatred towards us.
Or the people
Sometimes.
who think they looked like us,
Right.
but were nowhere close
Right,
to
right.
it. But they were like 10 pounds overweight, so they
Yeah.
had a miraculous recovery of some
Right.
type.
Right. But that because they just lost weight and they never actually really healed their body image. They never healed what
This
it
is
was that
so
compelled them
fucking
to
condescending,
change
and
their
I'm so
body.
sick of FAs and they're condescending and they're like, you don't agree with us because you just haven't healed yet. You don't understand. Fuck you. Fuck you. God, I fucking hate this condescension is like my biggest trigger for like an anger response, and it's something that I still don't have great control over. Because like it has been condescension as an anger trigger for me has been around since I was 4. My mom told me about times that adults came saying, "Hi, sweetheart," and I gave them the biggest fucking death glare. It has been with me since childhood, and this pisses me off because I want to get fit, because I want to lose weight, and I view that as a way of bettering myself because it is. It is. It's better for my health. It's better for health markers. It's better for my overall strength. It's better for how I feel in my body. It's better for my confidence in a lot of ways. And that I just haven't healed from my internalized trauma of diet culture and what society's hatred of fat people is. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm an adult. I can make choices for myself. I am not being manipulated. I've looked at I honestly I've covered fat acceptance for over 2 years now. I know all of your talking points. I know all of the rhetoric. The case where that I simply hadn't healed, you would think that after all of the exposure that I had to this and being able to see both the fitness claims and the health claims and then the fat acceptance claims, you think that I would have at least had more of a negotiation between the two. That, like, well, no, they have some points. No, there's very few points that they have made that, and any points that they have made don't really apply to me. Like the uh, doctors ignoring like serious health concerns. To, I think there is some room for negotiation there. Sometimes, yes, losing weight will help that. That being said, sometimes, especially in regards to like gynecological care, if they're complaining about this, it wouldn't hurt to do a test of endometriosis, um, or what's the other one? There's another one that escapes me. PCOS, that's it. Given that them being overweight anyway also leads to a predisposition to some of those issues. There have been stories of those people just being told repeatedly they have like intense cramps and to just told to lose weight, which is both sound medical advice. I like it losing weight would help those conditions, but still, there probably should have been some testing in regard to causes of extreme cramps, like PCOS, like endometriosis, especially if the patient themselves is asking for it, if they've done their research, which sometimes you have to do. Like, it's not just a fat person thing. Sometimes that's just that in general, that it's not always the case. But there are some times when you need to just advocate for yourself in that way. Uh, that being said, I don't think that, like, I'm not taking diet supplements. I don't generally eat diet foods. I prefer Diet Coke just because that's what I was raised on, because, like, everyone in, like, diabetes runs pretty strongly in my family, so we never had full sugar soda at family gatherings. It was all diet everything. So that's just generally what I have a preferred taste for. Doesn't mean that I'm swept up in diet culture. Doesn't mean that I just have unhealed diet culture wounds.
It's like we're the enemy. We're the enemy because we don't hate ourselves. We're not constantly just getting together like, okay, guys, what calorie count are we up to today? What workout are we going to do today? Like, let's go shopping for new workout clothes. Like, they hate us because we don't hate ourselves.
Sorry.
No,
I think it's really important to also say that we're not saying that it's impossible to lose weight or that it's unhealthy to lose weight. What we're saying is diets don't work. When you're purposely restricting your food or changing the way you eat to
Yes,
fit
you
a
can.
certain model,
That's
right?
not necessarily inherently wrong or problematic. Diets can work if you do it from the position of lifestyle changes, meaning that you don't try to do a full 180 on your diet overnight. Let's say, now granted, I'm not a keto person. Keto doesn't work for me, but let's say you want to do keto. Okay, let's just pretend that you want to do keto, and by the end of it, keto is exactly what you needed. Just follow that for me for a second. Keto is what you needed to feel the best in your body, and but you had a completely opposite uh sort of diet from keto to begin with. doing small, continual changes, probably over the course of a couple of years, you could get situated squarely in keto and maintain it. If that's what you really want, if it's really making you feel that much better, and if it's sustainable for you. It's just a matter of making, but I think if you went from eating like a lot of carbs and a lot of shit food to straight keto, that's not necessarily going to be very sustainable because you made such huge changes overnight that it's not what you're used to and you get fatigue from it, so you end up dropping things. Where, let's say you're used to eating a bunch of pastries, bunch of shit food, and all that, and your first goal is just to make any sweets that you eat um, homemade, even if it's like from a box, but you have to go through that extra step. Yes, you're still eating the carbs, but it's not, you don't have the plethora and the access that you did before. It's slow, tiny, minute changes over a long period of time that makes diets sustainable. Most diets can be sustainable. It's a matter of doing it in a way that is sustainable to you.
People who can make lifestyle changes and will see a difference in that. If you change, you no longer eat meat, you're all vegan or whatever, for whatever your reason is, right? You need to go gluten free because of an allergy or whatever. I'm sure that your body's going to react to that. It's going to change. The same thing happens, right? When you restrict so much food, you're going to either do two things. You're either not going to lose weight because your body's going to panic and hold on to it, or you're going to
Your
lose weight
body's
at
going
a
to panic and hold
rapid
on to it.
pace
That's not
that's
how
not
bodies work. That's not how weight loss works. And you can rapidly lose weight if you're doing something. If you are truly restricting, like like in a legitimate form, restricting too much, too fast, too hard, then yes, you can have rapid weight loss. That may very well not be good for you. That's why it's generally advised for you to talk to a doctor before you attempt a diet.
sustainable, right? You're going to lose the weight and then over time you're going to gain it back until you find yourself in another position where you're doing another insane diet where you restrict until you no longer can restrict, right? Because what we're talking about the New Year's, right, is really that 180 flip, right?
No one
You're
is saying you
saying
have to do the
I'm
180 flip though.
eating
That is what's so frustrating is that they act that no matter what, your New Year's resolutions have to be this 180 flip. And that may be what's sold because that's what's most aspirational. But that doesn't mean that you have to follow that. And most people, I think, after their teens and maybe early 20s, start to realize that. And when they make New Year's resolutions, they try to make it more sustainable and achievable for themselves. If you're still doing the whole 180 thing and you're continually having failure every year, then you need to adjust your expectations. You need to adjust your goals for New Year's resolutions in ways that are more sustainable and achievable for you.
super clean, super healthy, low fat, low carb.
Yesterday is no longer me, and today is a new me.
I'm now a disordered eater.
I'm now a disordered eater.
Yeah.
That's literally what diets
No, it
are
fucking
disordered
isn't.
eating.
No, it
So
fucking isn't. Diets are not disordered eating. This is, oh my god, they're these types of FAs, aren't they? Oh, diets are not inherently disordered eating. And to say that is just fucking bonkers to me. There's the DASH diet to reduce sodium intake. There is the glycemic index diet to control blood sugar. Whole 30, I know that a lot of people have issues with Whole 30, but a lot of Whole 30 people or was it eliminate, I think it was actually the elimination diet. Regardless, there's a diet that can be done that's meant to be done in short term to identify allergens. These things do happen, and these diets do have medical uses. Keto is done for certain medical conditions. I'm not sure what they are, but I know that keto is associated with certain medical conditions to help control them. There are people that cut out, like for instance, I really try to cut out the artificial sweetener that I take in. I have like a Diet Coke a week, but in general I stick to water because I noticed that um artificial sweeteners like make me feel wired. If I have too much of them, I get like shaky. It's weird. I don't feel good with them, and so I really limit the amount of artificial sweeteners that I take in.
Really saying is that is just such bullshit. To be a New Year's resolution is to say, I'm actually going to cause myself physical
Oh my God,
harm
you are not causing
by
yourself physical
trying to.
harm by um exercising, by doing a diet in a sustainable way. As long as you are not um like doing a full-on crash diet, you're probably fine.
Meet these expectations that are set by diet companies and society, just so I don't stand out and look like someone who is lazy and doesn't care about my health and is unhealthy.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
If I was to have a conversation with someone for a New Year's resolution and they go, I really want to be healthy this year, my first reaction is going to be like, what does that mean?
Right.
Yeah, right?
What does that mean to you?
Does that mean eating 3 meals a day and some snacks? Does that mean hitting all of the food groups? You're going to have your fats, you're going to have your fruits, you're going to have your vegetables, your starches. Are you going to have all of that? Great. That seems
Are
really
you going to
amazing.
go for a little walk for your mental health and your well-being?
Right.
All right, we're
Absolutely.
right about at
Right? Are you
the
going to have
halfway
some
point,
time?
a little before the halfway point, but honestly, I'm so irritated with this. I need a break, and I've been going for over an hour because I've been talking so much. So, I'm going to end this here. These people are really fucking pissing me off. Uh, they go with extremes for everything. This'll be fun for continue. Now I'm really curious at who's gonna drop and leave and why they're gonna drop and leave. I'm very curious. I want to see the journey of these four people now. I'm really fucking frustrated with the way they present New Year's resolutions, and even if they're going for like the most stereotypical one, they're still misrepresenting it, and it's pissing me off. So looking forward to finishing this one and trying some other, like, not trying some others, but like watching other podcasts from them. But I need a break today because they're really fucking pissing me off. Hope you guys won't begrudge me a quick plug-in. So Home of Poi is a circus arts website that has a bunch of different circus prop type things. They have flails, they have devil sticks, flower sticks, levy sticks, diabolo, uh, rope darts, spinning plates, staffs, the whole thing, the whole shebang. Like they have a shit ton of different items. My personal favorites are their fluffy poi because when they smack you in the face, because you will smack you yourself in the face when practicing poi, it doesn't hurt. And that's nice. But they have a bunch of stuff for you to check out. They have a bunch of cool stuff. They went through a whole period during COVID where they had almost nothing, and I thought for sure they were going to close down, but they've recently been like re-adding a bunch of stuff to their shop, which I'm really excited about. So I wanted to offer you guys, I've been with them since '09, and I have a friend's code if you're interested. The one that is for the channel is called Hidden24, all caps. And I'll put that in the link. I'll put a link to the Home of Poi and the code in the description down below. It gives you 10% off your first purchase. And I recommend that, like, just poke around if you have any desire to learn any circus arts. This is my favorite place to go. And they have a whole learn section where there's, like, for poi, there's 581 lessons. I can definitely vouch for their fluffy poi for a lot of their basics. It's typically the cheapest option. Are great beginner options for learning any of the props. For devil sticks specifically, I just want to show you guys. So they have a couple of different options. There's flower power devil sticks. I have not tried these, but I've heard good things about them. The ones that I've used is the super grip devil stick, and I would use this one that comes with the hand sticks. Uh, really good for practicing, really good for learning. I highly recommend it. So if you're interested, it both supports the channel and you can learn a new skill. Um, No pressure to do so. Please don't feel any pressure. Please don't go out of your way. Don't harm yourself financially to get these. Uh, just want to put that out there for anyone who's interested. But this is where I'm leaving it today because they have exhausted me mentally. So thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.